Well, we've already heard your fucking take. I want to hear from the
Super
others.
team, super team, by the way. Super team. Let's just listen. I feel so bad for Com. I genuinely, I feel so bad for Com because I feel like he's trapped in this team. There's a lot of players on that team that want to win, but there's one player in particular that I feel like is just there
Who?
to exist, and he knows that he's good, and I feel like I'm not saying the hunger isn't there anymore because I'm not inside his brain. It's Aspas. I'm a fucking Aspas hater. It's like you've hit the core of the issue. I think.
O mercado noturno está ativo no Valorant, e se você está pensando em comprar as skins que estão em promoção, o ideal é recarregar seus Valorant Points com gift card e ainda ganhar cashback em todas as suas compras. E o melhor lugar para isso é no reidoscoins.com.br. Fala galera, tudo bem com vocês? Nessa terça-feira tivemos mais um episódio do Playstyle, que é um dos maiores, se não o maior podcast sobre Valorant, e é composto por casters do NA. E durante esse episódio eles falaram bastante sobre a Leviathan, e entraram em um debate sobre o Aspas e a motivação dele no Valorant, e separamos esse trecho aqui para conferirmos. Mas antes, eu peço que você confira se está inscrito aqui no canal. Mais de 50% das pessoas que assistem nossos vídeos não são inscritas, então já confere aí e deixa aquele like nesse vídeo.
Actually do this year what they set out to do, which was form an America super team and play really, really good Valorant.
No, they didn't.
Well, we've already heard your fucking take. I want to hear from the others.
Super team, by the way. Super team. Let's just listen. I feel so bad for Com. I genuinely, I feel so bad for Com because I feel like he's trapped in this team. There's a lot of players on that team that want to win, but there's one player in particular that I feel like is just there.
Who?
To exist, and he knows that he's good, and I feel like I'm not saying the hunger isn't there anymore because I'm not inside his brain. It's Aspas. I'm a fucking Aspas hater. It's like you've hit the core of the issue. I think I'm a fucking Aspas hater, man. I think genuinely listen, he's a great player, but I think this guy, he's found out the formula for the VLR rating, knows that if you die less, you get fucking rated higher, and all the stat Stevens have been gassing this guy up. Watch his gameplay. Watch him try and play to his outs in a clutch scenario. He's gonna play for kills in his life. Like just
okay, he does do that. He does misplay.
You're a phenomenal player, Aspas. I'm telling you right now. Just where's the fire? Where's the passion? Show me it. Show me the passion. I want to see the fire. I don't want to see you just like, whatever, well, you know, I gave it my all. I understand there's times where you're dropping 50 and it looks like your team has their fucking monitors off. I understand that's the case. But just, I want to see the fire, man. And it didn't felt there. It felt like a fucking manufactured team. A manufactured super team. It was like that one Rocky movie where the fucking Soviet Union has got like the genetic engineering in that dude. And Rocky Balboa's out in the snow and he's got a fucking log on his back. And he's like, this is American grit and independence, and they beat the piss out of the manufactured like the dude. Do you know what I mean? Like,
which one is Aspas? I'm completely lost.
Aspas is like the big Russian dude that's roided out of control. And like, look at this. He's out of bed and he's trying to break his fucking hand. Why is nobody stopping him from punching this machine? I've seen people break their hands from doing that. He's a pro player at the event. What's he doing? I mean, I don't know.
Okay. There were a lot of people in the community as well that had the same reactionary narrative after Aspas was performing well in terms of stats, but didn't convert it into wins here. And he is a more passive duelist player. He absolutely is. He is more cautious in terms of how he takes fights. He doesn't send it and try to play for his team to trade him. The other three top duelists, they do play like that. Kang fucking sends it, man. Zekken sends it like nobody's business. And Miniboo doesn't even care if he gets a kill. He's playing for the 4v5s to make space for the rest of his team. Aspas is different in terms of that. It would be wrong to deny it. But also, he does pound a lot when he plays that kind of style. To say that it's wrong or playing for stats, I think, is just to misunderstand that there are different ways of playing the entry.
Yeah, I think it's like those 1% of rounds where like maybe he saves, where like maybe you should be hunting, that are creeping into the fact that he's not absolutely sending it. Because a lot of the time when he is sending it or like going, it's just more methodical of I'm safer to go here, but I'm still making a little bit of space instead of I'm getting to back a site and I know I'm getting traded. So I think it has like a good amount of thought behind it. And there is the 1% of rounds for sure where it is like slightly stat based, where it's like money wise you should be going for this.
And I think it is higher than 1%. I think you see those rounds once or twice a game, but I don't think it's like I don't think it's the percentage point that is causing Leviathan to lose these games. Is the thing. Do I wish sometimes they would have rounds where they would set him up in some set plays? Because it is, I feel like, pretty rare that you see like set stuff where he's diving in, where they're going for these faster plays. That doesn't really happen because he is playing so passive. But I think the thing is that he's providing so much value in the mid to late rounds. The reason his stats are insane isn't just that he's saving every round and winning the 1v3 in defender spawn. It's he has a lot of these rounds where once the site is broken open, he's getting multi-kills. In the post plants, he's getting multi-kills and winning them rounds individually. And when he opts too, I think he is still providing value, even if he's doing it less than he used to. Do I wish he would take more risks and be a little bit more like Kung Kung sometimes? Yeah, but I don't think that that's the rounds that are off are enough to fully indict his play style.
Yeah, I think going back to your original question of like their whole year and like them as a team, I think at their peak they delivered on the super team, but that peak was rare. That's basically it. They were inconsistent. There was a good amount of times where you saw their peak and you're like, oh, this is like the team we were promised. But whatever's making them consistent, something like during pracs or like being able to repeat that multiple chances, and maybe it's like them showing a lot of demos. I think everyone can have like their own take, and no one will really know unless they're like in the team what the actual issue is. But I think it's a super team that's just inconsistent. But their peak is that they're a top 3 team in their peak for sure. Like they can still win.
Something I'm seeing
like tournaments
in the chat that I think is an interesting question. Should Aspas be playing Sentinel? Is that an insane thing to say?
Because he likes taking them all.
Yeah,
like,
or control or something like that, where he's set up to have that like late round impact a little bit more. I don't know if it's that crazy to say that.
Well, we've definitely seen a lot of very good duelist players turn into extraordinary Sentinel players. But why would you try that with Aspas when he's the most consistent player the game has ever seen? I mean, we're talking he's overtaken Ye in terms of consistency because Ye had that drop-off, right? So he's just, look at any tournament the guy's played in, any tournament at any point, he's going to be in the top, I don't know, top 5 or whatever when you're looking at stats.
There is like a little bit of tendencies that you're saying. Like he won't full stick a spike. Like there's multiple opportunities where he should be getting half or he should be like sticking the spike and he won't stick the spike, and maybe that becomes a little bit too telling as well. There are little things like that. For sure, like when I watch.
But Brent, I feel like you're conflating a little bit those few rounds that are hard in with like every round ever that he plays. Because I think that those rounds stick out because they are egregious, but I think they're the exception, not the rule.
No, he's a great player. Like this is why I'm so angry, because I just felt like he's like Messi playing in Florida. He's got a paycheck. And he knows as long as the numbers are high and he's always going to be consistent, there'll be another paycheck waiting for him. It felt like, I don't know. It's just, I don't see the passion. I don't see the fire. I don't know how to keep saying this. It's intangible to me.
But he's never been that, has he? He's always been the calm, routine, lay back in the chair, trying like. He's always been the guy that's actually very low-key, even when he's been performing at his best.
I do agree with Brennan the point of, again, I'm always going to bring up this EDG game. Like, if they had that duelist on the EDG Abyss on attack, instead of searching mid, just one person to actually send it into the site, I think they win that game. So I do think there are certain things that Brennan is talking about that have a lot of weight behind it, but I also agree with Mimi that it is like the small percent. But I do think for the game they lost against EDG, it included that small percent because I want to see him make the space on A site or make the space on B site by sending it. I know he did it on B a lot, but I wanted to see it more A, and then I think they win that instead of searching middle with an op, no picks, and then they're stuck 40-second mark, and I got to see Tex run in and try and make some space.
I also think that even though the 1% of rounds that you're talking about, whatever the number would actually be, a low percentage of rounds where you want to see him send it a bit more. Actually, his entrying style on other maps too, like for example, Bind, I think is a really obvious example. When he entries down short, he jiggle peeks pocket and he jiggle peeks lamps repeatedly to try to bait good engagements for himself. Versus other raises who will send it with utility and then try to overwhelm the player that they end up meeting, you know, hoping that they got hit by the flash or just hoping to outskill them, something like that. And I think if you went and looked at a really large quantity of his games, you might be able to see a correlation between the slower way that he entries and advantages for the defenders being able to react to what's happening because of that time frame. He's literally taking like an extra 5 seconds to get through a choke point, but it's resulting in him getting the opening kill much more frequently than other people. It's a complex situation that you would like. You could write a fucking
like he
thesis
doesn't
on
have
the
trust in his
difference.
team to set him up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But also, dude, it kind of comes to another point too. This isn't really a super team. I didn't believe that when it was formed either. It's not like old Fnatic with Leo on the team. It's an America's like collection of very good players from all across the region. But who on this team can tell Aspas to send it and will pick up the pieces? Which coach did they have that can tell Aspas, the guy that's like been at the top of the leaderboards for everything that he's ever played and has won titles, like arguably an MVP candidate in some of the tournaments too? Who's going to say that to him? I don't know. I think that it's a functional thing within the team too, that Irapada tried to adjust interpersonal dynamics as it went on. Brazilian fans were the ones that were most harsh on Aspas. Like the
I think they would
global
agree
fans
with me.
weren't that harsh.
I think they would agree with me. I genuinely think that a lot of them would agree with me.
Yeah, Sassy tweeted this.
Sassy doesn't agree with me,
No, Sassy
But
does
that's
not
fine.
agree with you.
but that's fine. He's entitled to his opinion, just like I'm entitled to mine.
Yeah, this is a reference, by the way, to the fact that the Brazilian fans were saying he wasn't even that important in winning in 2022, which is,
I mean, that's
like,
crazy.
insane.
That is
That's
actually insane.
insanity.
I would
That's even
ne-
further than Bren would go.
I would not make that take. No, I want him to be in a team that where like everyone's like, yeah, we want to win a fucking trophy, but it doesn't feel like I get that from Aspas. Maybe I'm completely wrong because I'm not inside his head and I've never spoken to him. I'm probably very wrong. Listen, I'm just gonna say it. A lot of what I'm saying is inflammatory and is made for just clicks and numbers, and you're all falling for it. And who's the real winner here? Maybe one day we'll be able to pay rent with Plat Chat, but we're getting there. I just need to do a few more of these.
Thank you, Bren.
Appreciate it.